Be me, 24F, doing my master's in intersectional gender and media studies at a fairly prestigious uni. My friends call me a warrior. I call myself a work in progress. Fighting the good fight. Deconstructing the cishet patriarchy one TikTok and thesis chapter at a time. I'm also plus-sized, or as I prefer, living in a body that society has deemed inconveniently large. It's a political statement, really. Occupying space fearlessly. My life is mostly campus. Library, my shared apartment, and the occasional protest. The apartment is a feminist co-op. Our only male-identifying roommate is a trans man named Leo, who is lovely and understands the struggle. The rest of us are a cohort of powerful women, ready to change the world. It's a great support system. It starts on a Tuesday. It's that time of year in the city when the air is thick and wet, makes my hair frizz and my clothes stick. Had a triple header of lectures. My brain feels like lukewarm oatmeal. Plus I had to lug around 3 massive critical theory books because the library recalled them. My tote bag is digging a trench into my shoulder. All I want is to get on the bus, get home, complain about my day to my roommates, and watch some curated content that reaffirms my worldview. Get to the bus stop. It's already packed. My face when the bus finally arrives, and it's standing room only. Sweaty bodies pressed together. The collective smell of damp coats and despair. I manage to squeeze my way on, clutching my heavy-ass bag of patriarchal deconstruction. My calves are already burning. I'm a big girl. Standing for long periods, especially on a lurching vehicle, is a genuine physical struggle. This isn't about fitness, it's about physics. More mass, more gravity, it's science. I scan the seats, my eyes glazing over the usual suspects, old ladies, a mum with a stroller, people who are visibly disabled. The priority seating section is, for once, being used correctly. Fine, but then I see him, smack in the middle of the bus, in a regular seat. A guy, maybe 25-ish, generic-looking dude, hoodie, jeans, scuffed sneakers. He's got noise-cancelling headphones on, staring at his phone, completely zoned out. He's able-bodied, young, and most importantly, male. And he's sitting. I position myself right in front of him. I make sure my heavy tote bag is visible. I make sure my exhausted breathing is audible. I'm performing a woman in need of a seat. It's a scene as old as time. A basic social contract. The strong. Men help the, well, not weak, but currently inconvenienced women. It's the bare minimum, the lowest possible bar for decency. He doesn't move. He doesn't even look up. His thumb is just scrolling, endlessly, on whatever dumb app has his attention. Okay, maybe he didn't notice. I clear my throat. Loudly? Nothing. I sigh. A big, theatrical, put-upon sigh that could curdle milk. The girl next to me gives me a sympathetic look. She gets it. The guy, however, is in another dimension. He's probably looking at memes or watching some gaming stream. The digital world, a perfect retreat for men who can't handle the complexities of real-world social obligations. I last for 3 more stops, my shoulder screaming, my feet throbbing. My initial annoyance is starting to curdle into genuine rage. It's not about the seat anymore, it's about the principle. It's the casual, unthinking entitlement. The way he can just shut out the world, sit in his seat, and ignore the clear discomfort of a woman right in front of him. This isn't just rudeness. It's a political act. It's the weaponization of indifference. I get off at my stop, fuming. I practically slam the door to my apartment. My roommate, Sophia, is in the kitchen making some kale smoothie. Whoa, what's up? Did a man try to explain your own thesis to you again? Worse, I say, dropping my bag on the floor with a heavy thud. They've stopped giving up their seats. Sophia stops the blender. No. Yes. The social contract is dead. We spend the next hour talking about it, how men are getting more and more resentful as women gain power. They're retreating, becoming silent, withholding basic courtesies as a form of petty rebellion. Can't keep us out of the boardroom, so they'll keep us standing on the bus. It's pathetic, really. This isn't an isolated incident. Now that I'm looking for it, I see it everywhere. Holding doors? A thing of the past. Now it's everyone for themselves, offering to help carry something heavy? Lamau. They'd rather watch you struggle. It's a systemic withdrawal of social niceties. My other roommate, Maya, says it's because their patriarchal conditioning is being challenged and their brains are short-circuiting. They don't know how to act anymore. Half of their programming says be a gentleman, The other half screeches, "Feminists hate you," from whatever manosphere podcast they listen to, so they just blue screen and do nothing. I decide this is going to be my final project for my Media and Society seminar, The Silent Strike, Male Withdrawal of Social Labour in Post-Me Too Public Spaces. My professor, Dr. Albright, a legend in the department, loves the title. She says it's provocative and timely. I feel a surge of righteous purpose. I am not just complaining, I am conducting research. I start documenting everything. I take the bus and subway even when I don't need to. I carry an extra heavy bag on purpose. I stand in front of seated men, making my presence known. My phone's notes app becomes a logbook of male indifference. Tuesday, 4:35 p.m. Line 2 train. Male, approx. 30, wearing a suit. Made eye contact, then immediately looked back at his laptop. Pretended to be working. Stayed seated. Wednesday, 12:15 p.m. 57 bus. Male, college-aged. Earbuds in. Saw me, saw my overflowing grocery bags, and physically turned his body toward the window to avoid engagement. Friday, 6 p.m. Rush hour. A sea of seated men. A literal ocean of them. I had to stand for 45 minutes. My back is ruined. I might have scoliosis now. The patriarchy is a public health crisis. I bring my findings to my friend group. We meet at our usual vegan cafe. I lay out my theory, my evidence. They all nod furiously, sharing their own anecdotes. Sophia was on a date where the guy suggested they split the bill. The audacity. Maya says guys in her coding class never offer to help when she's stuck on a problem, but they'll trip over themselves to help each other. It's a pattern. A silent, petty, coordinated effort to make our lives marginally more difficult. The only person who isn't 100% on board is my dad. I visit my parents for our obligatory Sunday dinner. My dad is a boomer, a gentle, kind man who I love, but who is hopelessly stuck in the past. He's the type of guy who still calls women females unironically. I tell him about my project, about the men on the bus. "Well, honey, I'd give up my seat for you," he says, as if that solves it. "That's because you're from a different generation, Dad. You were raised with benevolent sexism 101. Benevolent what now? I was just raised to be a gentleman. See? It's sexism. You see me as a woman who is inherently weaker and needs your protection. It's not about kindness, it's about reinforcing a power dynamic." My dad just sighs and looks at my mum like he needs a translator. "All I'm saying is, maybe the young fellas are just tired," he says. "Everyone's tired these days. Tired of what? Equality? Having to see women as actual people and not damsels in distress? No, just tired. From work, from life. I don't know. I dismiss it. He just doesn't get it. His brain is fossilized back at uni. The plot thickens. For my final seminar, Dr. Albright wants us to work in pairs to add a dialectical component to our research. My heart sinks when I see the pairings list. I'm paired with Michael. I scan the room. Which one is Michael? Oh no, it's him. It's the guy from my Intro to Sociological Theory class last year. The one who sits in the back, never says a word, and looks perpetually unimpressed. He has that bland, generic handsomeness that makes you forget his face the moment you look away. He's wearing a faded band t-shirt and looks like he hasn't slept in a week. He's giving incel vibes, or at least incel adjacent, the quiet kind. I walk over to his desk after class. "So, looks like we're partners," I say, trying to sound collaborative and not at all like I'm about to break out in hives. He looks up from his laptop. His eyes are grey and empty. "Yeah, okay. So, my project is on the withdrawal of social courtesies by men in public spaces. I've titled it The Silent Strike," I say, waiting for the praise, the intrigue. He just blinks at me. "Okay. Wow, a conversationalist. We need to meet up to discuss a work plan. Are you free Thursday?" "Can't. I work. Friday? Work. Okay. When are you free?" I'm starting to get annoyed. I'm free before 9 a.m. most days, or after 10 p.m., and on Sunday mornings. MFW, he has the schedule of a 19th century factory worker. "I have a job too," I lie. "My job is a cushy 8-hour-a-week gig shelving books at the library." "Okay," he says again, starting to pack his bag. The conversation is clearly over in his mind. "Look, Michael, this project is 40% of our grade. We need to collaborate. Does Sunday at 10 a.m. at the main library work? Fine." He swings his backpack over one shoulder and just walks away. Not a nice to meet you? Not a see you then? Nothing. The silent strike in action, folks. Exhibit A. Sunday comes. I get to the library at 10:02. He's already there, at a table, laptop open. He doesn't even have a coffee. What kind of monster? Hey, I say, sitting down. Hey, so what's the plan? I launch into my theory. I talk about the bus, the doors, the underlying misogyny, the fragile male ego, the backlash to feminism. I use all the right terminology: heteronormativity, performative masculinity, systemic oppression. I feel articulate, powerful. I am educating this poor, unenlightened man. I talk for a solid 10 minutes. When I'm done, I lean back, triumphant. So, for our project, I think we can gather more field data, maybe create a survey. He's been silent the whole time, just staring at me, not with anger or confusion, with a profound, soul-crushing emptiness. It's like I was a TV show he had on in the background. So you're mad that guys don't give you a seat on the bus, he says, finally. I bristle. The oversimplification, the nerve. It's not just a seat, Michael. It's a symptom of a larger social disease. Okay, so what's our thesis statement? The thesis is that men are consciously or unconsciously withholding common decency as a political tool to punish women for advancements in equality, he thinks for a second. Isn't the point of equality that you don't get special treatment? My brain freezes for a second. Is he serious? It's not special treatment. It's about accommodating those who are in a more difficult situation. I'm carrying heavy things. I'm exhausted. I'm a woman. The sign on the bus says to give up the seat for elderly, pregnant, or disabled people. Are you any of those? I'm a woman, I practically shout, then lower my voice because the librarian is giving me the evil eye. In a patriarchal society, being a woman is a pre-existing condition. I swear to God I see the corner of his mouth twitch for a nanosecond. Was that a suppressed laugh? Look, he says, sighing. It's the sigh of a man who has been on this planet for 1,000 years. I work 2 jobs to be here. One is stocking shelves at a grocery store overnight. The other is bussing tables at a restaurant downtown. When I get on that bus, I've usually been on my feet for 8 hours straight. I am, to use your word, exhausted. My feet hurt. My back hurts. I paid my $2 for that fare just like you did. I'm not giving up my seat because I'm punishing you for anything. I'm giving up my seat for the same reason you want it. Because I'm tired. I'm speechless. He's trying to make it about him. Classic male behavior, centering his own experience. That's just your anecdotal experience, I managed to say. My research is looking at a broader pattern. Okay, he says. So what do you need from me for this project? He's not fighting me. He's not debating. He's just complying, detached. It's infuriating. It's like trying to punch water. I want him to be the angry, fragile man my theory predicts. I want him to yell, to argue, to get red in the face. Instead, he's just this void, a black hole of indifference. His apathy is more insulting than any slur he could throw at me. I'll handle the theoretical framework and the qualitative analysis, I say, dividing the labor. You can handle the data compilation. I'll send you my field notes. Fine by me, he says, and opens a textbook. He's already moved on. The rest of our meetings are the same. I talk, he listens with that same dead-eyed patience. He does his part of the work efficiently, emailing me spreadsheets and citations without any commentary. He never argues, never pushes back. He just exists. It's the most spiritually draining experience of my life. My friends tell me he's gaslighting me with his silence, that it's a form of psychological abuse, and I believe them. One day, I see him in the student union, eating alone. He's eating a sad-looking sandwich from a plastic bag and reading a book. On a whim, I decide to try one more time, a different tactic. I sit down opposite him. He looks up. No surprise, no welcome. Just a blank, what now expression. You know, I begin, in my most empathetic voice. It's okay to be angry. What? I get it. The world is changing. The old rules don't apply and it can be confusing for men. Your traditional roles are being dismantled. It's natural to feel a sense of loss or resentment. I'm basically paraphrasing a Judith Butler essay. I feel very magnanimous. He slowly chews his sandwich, swallows, takes a sip of water from a beat-up plastic bottle. I'm not angry, he says. I'm just trying to graduate so I can get a slightly better job and maybe one day afford an apartment that doesn't have roaches. But your inaction, The bus thing, it's a statement. It's not a statement, it's a choice. My choice. I'm tired. I stay seated. Someone else is more tired, or old, or has a broken leg. I get up. It's not about their gender, it's about my legs. That's it. There's no secret men's meeting where we plot to not hold doors for you. So you're saying chivalry is completely dead? I don't know, is it? You tell me. You want to be seen as equals, right? Capable and strong. That's what equality is. You don't get to pick and choose the parts of the old system you liked. You don't get to have the power and the pedestal, so you can, in fact, open your own door. You can pay for your own dinner, and you can stand on the bus just like any other abled adult who isn't a senior citizen. He says it all in that same flat, monotone voice. No malice, no heat, just facts, as he sees them. He finishes his sandwich. The parts you assigned me for the presentation are done. I've put them in the shared Google Drive folder, he says. I'll do my 5 minutes. You do yours. We get our grade. We never have to talk to each other again. Sound good? He doesn't wait for an answer. He packs up his trash, puts his book in his bag, and leaves. I'm left sitting there, fuming. He'd twisted my own logic against me. I complained to my roommates later. He tried to tell me I wanted the power and the pedestal. Can you believe the misogyny? Sophia is furious on my behalf. What a classic derailing tactic. He's trying to make you seem unreasonable. They get it. They always get it. The day of the presentation arrives. I am ready. I've refined my speech. I have my notes, my talking points. I will not just be presenting a project. I will be speaking my truth. Michael is there, wearing a slightly less wrinkled shirt. I guess that's his version of dressing up. Our turn comes. Dr. Albright calls our names. Michael gets up. I'll go first. My part is the background data. He walks to the podium. He speaks for exactly 5 minutes in his usual monotone. Our project examines social interactions in public transit. For my portion, I compiled city transit data on ridership demographics and compared it with census data for the corresponding routes. We see a 15% increase in total ridership during peak hours post-pandemic. We also see that the average commute time has increased by 12 minutes. The key takeaway is that public spaces are more crowded and people are spending more time in them. This likely contributes to a state of general fatigue and reduced social bandwidth among all commuters, regardless of demographic. He shows a few boring charts. Then he says, my partner will now discuss the qualitative and theoretical implications. And he sits down. The class gives a light, polite smattering of applause for his boring, soulless data. He didn't even touch the gender aspect. He completely dodged it. Now it's my turn. I walk up there, my heart pounding with righteous fire. Thank you, Michael, for that sterile introduction. I begin, with a bit of a pointed edge. But data and charts don't tell the whole story. They don't capture the lived experience. And my lived experience, as a woman in this city, is that the data's reduced social bandwidth is, in fact, a targeted campaign. I launch into it all. The bus incident, the heavy bag, the man's headphones, the doors not being held, the struggle. I call it the silent strike. I talk about fragile masculinity. I talk about the petulant rage of the patriarchy and its death throes. I even try to roast him a little, but it comes out awkward. Some might say this is about being tired, I say, glancing at Michael. But that's a simplistic excuse that deliberately ignores the gendered power dynamics at play. This isn't about tired legs. It's about tired, obsolete ideologies. I feel amazing. The words are flowing. I am a vessel for the truth. I finish with a flourish. The question isn't why are men tired? The question is, why are men so angry? And the answer is simple, because we are no longer afraid of them. I look out at my classmates, expecting awe. Snaps, a standing ovation, silence, just dead, awkward silence. Even the girls who usually nod along to everything I say are just staring at their desks. Dr. Albright has her head in her hands. She looks up, and her face is not happy. Thank you, Megan, she says, her voice strained. Please take a seat. I walk back to my chair, my confidence starting to waver. Why is no one clapping? Dr. Albright adjusts her glasses. Well, That was something. She looks at me. Megan. The assignment was to produce a piece of sociological research. What you just gave us was a diary entry, a highly emotional, deeply biased rant based on a handful of personal anecdotes. You took Michael's perfectly good empirical data and used it as a launchpad for an unfalsifiable conspiracy theory. My mouth falls open. Conspiracy theory? Your grade will reflect the fact that only one member of this team appeared to understand the academic nature of the assignment. Sociology is the study of society, not a stage for your personal grievances. My face is burning. The entire class is looking at me. Michael is just staring straight ahead, expressionless. He doesn't look triumphant. He doesn't look at all. He just exists. The bell rings, mercifully. Everyone packs up and leaves in a hurry, avoiding eye contact with me. I am glued to my seat, completely humiliated. I finally manage to gather my things and flee the room. I don't want to go home to my roommates. I don't want their sympathy. I don't want to hear them say Dr. Albright has internalized misogyny. I just want to be alone. I start walking home, even though it's a 40-minute walk. The sky, which was sunny just an hour ago, has turned a miserable, bruised grey. Of course. The first drops of rain start to fall. Big, cold drops. I don't have an umbrella. I'm walking fast, trying to get to shelter. And my tote bag, the same damn tote bag, is heavy with my now useless books and my laptop. I stumble on an uneven piece of sidewalk. My ankle twists, and I go down. Hard. My laptop and books spill out of my bag and skitter across the wet pavement. My laptop slides and comes to rest in a growing puddle. A sharp pain shoots up my leg. I think I sprained my ankle. I'm just sitting there, on the cold, wet ground, in the pouring rain. My jeans are soaked, my laptop is drowning. I try to push myself up, but my ankle screams in protest. And being my size, it's a struggle to get up from the ground even on a good day. I'm helpless. Tears start mixing with the rain on my face. People are walking by, huddled under their umbrellas, heads down. They glance at the girl crying on the sidewalk and hurry past. No one wants to get involved. No one wants to get wet. A group of guys walks by, laughing about something. They don't even see me. It's been minutes. I'm shivering. Then I see a familiar figure walking towards me. It's Michael. He's got his hood up, his head down, walking at a brisk pace. Our eyes meet for a second. He sees me. He sees the whole pathetic scene. The spilled bag, the laptop in the puddle, me splayed on the ground crying. This is it. The moment of truth. Will he be the bigger person? Will he prove that there's some decency left in the world? He hesitates. Just for a single agonizing second, his pace slows, and then he looks away. He pulls his hood further down, puts his head down, and keeps walking. He walks right past me and doesn't look back. And in that moment, sitting in the cold rain, everything becomes horribly clear. It wasn't a conspiracy. It wasn't a political statement. It wasn't a silent strike. It was never about punishing me as a woman. It was just about me. He wasn't helping me because he saw me, Megan, a person who had declared him and everyone like him the enemy. You can't declare war on half the population and then cry when there's no one left to help you up when you fall. The silence I was so angry about wasn't an attack. It was an absence, a void, the space left behind when you burn a bridge. They weren't angry. They just didn't care. An army of men who were tired and had decided I wasn't their problem. I was on my own.